Navies and landlocked countries. At first glance, these two appear to be two sides of the same coin, with navies having ships sailing over the sapphire seas to conserve commerce and defend against disruptors. And while landlocked countries, or countries that don't border an ocean, might enjoy protection against navies thanks to that land, some of them still have their own naval ships. But why? From what I can tell, there are three main reasons why. So let's discuss those three reasons for having a navy, which of them have them, and hopefully not get too sidetracked multiple times along the way about other pointless questions. There's a common misconception among people that landlocked countries do not have access to the ocean, meaning that they can't participate in ocean commerce unless their products are sent over land first. But the thing is, they do have access to the ocean, using the leading lifeline of landlocked countries, rivers. Rivers are great, they meander, they provide drinking water, farmland, and like I said, give landlocked countries access to the ocean, no land needed. So it would make sense that some of them would like some extra protection for their rivers. These are from poorest to richest for no particular reason. The CAR, Uzbekistan, Laos, Armenia, Moldova, Paraguay, Serbia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czechia, Austria, Switzerland, and any other ones that the comments will enlighten me of, which I would probably mention later regardless, just go write a comment anyway. Because algorithm. No, the problem isn't that these countries don't have access to the ocean, because they do. The problem is that beyond their territorial rivers, they can't actually defend their merchant ships from naval blockades or piracy without the help of others. This is because naval ships that can operate in brown waters like rivers aren't as effective in blue waters like oceans, and vice versa. This opens up a huge side tangent called what the heck are blue, green and brown over the navies? Well, funny story, these terms often get two meanings. Location of a navy and the performance of a navy. I'll explain the performance of a navy first. Blue water navies are able to show off their figurative muscles far beyond the territorial waters of the country. Usually this means that blue water navies have aircraft carriers, which, as the name implies, is a ship that can carry aircraft. These things are pretty powerful, so only the cream of the crop countries can construct these crazy colossals. They are, from poorest to richest, for no particular reason, India, Egypt, Thailand, Brazil, Russia, China, Spain, Italy, South Korea, Japan, France, the UK, Australia, and the US. Green water navies are slightly weaker, they're not able to dominate the whole world, but they are able to defend their own coastline, so the vast majority of countries fall under this category. Brown water navies are not strong enough to defend the coastline. They can only do some maritime policing, but they can also be used to defend rivers. Most landlocked countries fall under this category, including the aforementioned river guys. In terms of location, it's a lot simpler. Blue water navies patrol the ocean, green water navies patrol the coastline, and brown water navies patrol the rivers. Because of the double meaning here, the classification of navies is very subjective, but here's a map that I made to maybe visualize it a little bit. So, getting back to the main point, river flotillas aren't going to be worth a damn against big ships on blue water like aircraft carriers, but as rivers flow more inland, they incline, become shallower, and narrower. So you're not sending an aircraft carrier to the Mississippi or something. Reason 1. Rivers. The thing with brown water navies compared to their blue and green counterparts is that they don't have many movement options. Mother Nature is completely indifferent to human wishes, so we'll just have to follow these meandering menaces wherever they feel like flowing. Because of this, throughout history, brown water navies have only really been used to support ground troops, and also to commit war crimes. So not much different from any other division really. However, a few lucky countries get a few more movement options thanks to lakes, and the best part is that they often have rivers flowing into them. A good example here are the Great Lakes. Not those Great Lakes, these Great Lakes. The African Great Lakes. Turkana, Kyoga, Victoria, Albert, Edward, Kivu, Tanganyika, Mweri, Rukwa, and Malawi are freshwater lakes, meaning that a lot of cool fishes live there. All the landlocked countries who border these lakes, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and Malawi, all have brownwater navies operating in these lakes, and while most of them are cool with each other due to the whole East African Federation thing, Malawi and Tanzania tend to get into tussles over Lake Malawi, because Britain not only sucks during land borders, but borders over water as well. Tanzania says, I want my fair share, but Malawi says, heck no, it's all mine, the lake is named after me. No, it isn't, you were named after a group of people, just like the lake. Yeah, but that group of people lives in my country, so technically it loops around. This is fucking stupid. On the other hand, there are also saltwater lakes, which usually means that they were connected to the ocean at some point millions of years ago. The largest lake in the world falls under this category, the Caspian Sea. Huh. It would appear that we've stumbled into side tangent number 2. Is this thing a sea or a lake? Well, that's what these five wanted to find out, 3 of which, Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, and Kazakhstan, are landlocked, to have a navy operating in the Caspian. Agreeing on the status of this large body of water was important to all of them, so they could get their hands on the oil and gas there as quickly and legally as possible. But you might be wondering, why does it matter if it's a lake or a sea? And leaving aside the human urge to needlessly classify things, the reason why it's important is because lakes and seas have different laws. If it's a sea, then every country would get a small area off of the coast, while the rest would become international waters. In that little area, they can extract resources, fish, do science, and are responsible for protecting the nature there. This is called an Exclusive Economic Zone, or EEZ. You might have already heard of this if you're a geopolitics nerd. No, it's a thing that Portuguese people cream over. Oh hey, if you're from Portugal, you should subscribe. If it's a lake, then the entire body of water would be shared equally between the 5 bordering countries. None of it would be international, just like the Great Lakes between the US and Canada, for example. Luckily though, the 5 came together in 2018 to decide on the status of the Caspian, and they chose neither. You see, the Caspian is now its own special thing. It's split up like a sea, with each country having EEZ, with 2 coastals and the Landlocked 3. However, only the surface is truly free, as the seabed was split up like a lake to which all 5 of them agree, since all the oil is down there and would fill them all with glee. I'm sorry. So yeah, the status of the Caspian Sea has been agreed upon, and it will probably stay peaceful for the coming years. But we can't really rename it, cause like, Caspian body of water doesn't really have the same ring to it, you know? Reason 2. Lakes. Since oceans, seas, rivers, and lakes have all been discussed, we're kinda running out of bodies of water to deploy ships on. But there is one very special one that to my knowledge, only 2 countries are able to utilize, and they're both landlocked. The waters in these spots are rough to traverse, with each drop of water adding onto the misery that one might feel when sailing on them, and there is only one type of fuel that these waters can use to survive the trip. The body of water is a pond of tears, with the fuel being copium! And the countries are Ethiopia and Bolivia. For poor straits for no particular reason. Alright, that might be a little bit dramatic. And yeah, I say that in the case of Ethiopia, it's not that bad. Ethiopia had a navy until 1991, with the independence of Eritrea. After ordering some copium, they kept their navy in the Red Sea, until Yemen told them to leave. And since Ethiopia didn't pay Djibouti their harbor fees, they got kicked out of there as well. Today, Ethiopia only has a small ship on Lake Tana, and I probably wouldn't have mentioned them if that was the end of the story. But recently they have expressed interest in rebuilding their navy, this time with French help. Keep inhaling that copium, Ethiopia. Bolivia. It is number 5 on my funniest countries tier list, and you're about to find out why. So sure, Bolivia has a good reason to keep their navy around. They can put ships on the tributaries of the Amazon River to prevent drug trafficking. That would be a good excuse in front of the international community. However, Bolivia makes it pretty clear that they keep their navy around because of their desire to get a Pacific coastline, specifically from Chile. To catch you up to speed, during the Latin American Wars of Independence, at the beginning of the 19th century, Bolivia became independent from Spain and had a coastline. Although Spain, just like Britain, stuck to drawing borders, and thus a lot of sparsely populated areas were disputed between the new countries, one of these being the Atacama Desert, where Bolivia was connected to the ocean. They, along with Peru on Bolivia's side, went to war with Chile over the territory, and Chile won, making Bolivia landlocked. I know I kinda glossed over the history there, but the history isn't too important here. What matters is that Bolivia is landlocked and they won't stop complaining about it. Chile gives unrestricted access of Bolivian goods through the Atacama. They built a railway together between Arica and La Paz to make such transport easier. Chile has even made an attempt for a land swap with Bolivia, which would have given them access to the ocean. But this is former Peruvian territory, and Chile signed a treaty with them saying that those lands cannot be given away without Peru's confirmation. Peru had the right to decline, and they did. Despite all of this, Bolivia complains to both the Organization of American States and the International Court of Justice about the issue, both of which plead Bolivia to settle the matter privately with Chile. But just like Twitter drama, all Bolivia doesn't make it public for everyone to see. But at least public Twitter drama is actually entertaining. On the bright side, I do think that this conflict could be settled eventually when Chile and Bolivia start having diplomatic relations again. But Bolivia will have to keep banging their head against the wall for now, but eventually it might just break, without having realized that they could have just gone around the wall. Reason 3. Pride. Those are the main 3 reasons why landlocked countries still have navies, along with the answers to some other side tangents. For now, all of them are just gonna have to wait for global warming to melt off the ice so they can finally have access to the ocean. Never mind, Bolivia is still landlocked. Hey, thank you for sticking around until the end. The day after this will be uploaded, I will have officially started going to university, so my bio will finally make sense. That does mean that I have less time for videos, but I am currently working on one about war crimes, what they are and which ones there are. If you want to see that, then subscribe, ring the bell, all that YouTube stuff. Alright, see ya!